Hello there, Caroline Bolderston with Coaching on the Go. At this time of year, I know many agents have got some listings that are stuck, they're not moving. And as we approach Christmas, it needs to be about clearing your stock. Now, one of the reasons that your listings might not be clearing is that there is a gap between vendor expectations and where the market is. So how do you manage that? What's the process? What's the best approach? There are two things I want to share with you today, and I have shared it before, but it's a great time for a refresher. Number one is, how clear are you on what the true underlying emotional driver is for your vendor? And when I ask some of my clients, why they're on the market, what's the purpose, why they're moving, I hear surface level responses like, they're downsizing, or they don't want to renovate. Now that's a surface level logical reason why. I just want to make sure that you are going to that next layer down to try and find out what the emotional driver is behind that surface level logic, i.e. the downsizer. So, okay, great, downsizing. When you do get into a smaller property, what will that enable you to do? Find out, is it freeing up cash because they don't have any money to visit their children in Scotland? Or is there some other emotional driver there? If you can find out the pleasure or the pain underneath that surface level reason, then you might be able to use that to help them make the right decisions so that they can move towards achieving that. So that's the first thing. And then you go into what I call the PDC framework, which is how to have a powerful, direct conversation. And there are a few steps to it. The first thing is we've got to reconnect with that emotional driver and check in. Is it still your intention to downsize so that you can insert emotional driver? Get them to say, yes, I still want that. Because if they don't want that anymore, you need to know. So that's the first thing. Then we're going to go into the simple 3-step framework. So assess the situation, which is step 1, summarizing everything to now. The day you hit the market, how many inquiries, how many inspections, how many offers, how many buyers you've identified, all of the facts about the campaign to date, just the facts. Situation, number 1. Number 2, then you need to isolate very clearly the challenge. And as I mentioned, right now, the biggest challenge tends to be there is a gap between what you're hoping to achieve and where the market is currently sitting. That's the challenge. Identify it very, very clearly. It's as simple as that. Step 2, the challenge. Then step 3, this is where you transfer the responsibility of the decision back onto the client. Because I actually had one of my clients say to me a couple of days ago that his client had said, listen, I've hired you to get me out of this situation. So that's putting the blame and the responsibility fully on the agent. So this is our opportunity now in step 3 of the PDC framework to put that responsibility where it truly lies, which is with your vendor. So step 3 is all about options. And you let them know. The good news is you have full choice here. You've got options of what you want to do. And now the 3 options, I want you to think about them in terms of time frame. So option 1 is we get sold now. We get you sold unconditionally before Christmas so you can relax over Christmas and you can get on with your life in the new year. Option 1 is selling now. Option 2 is you defer and you say, you know what, I'm happy to be selling later. And if it goes into March or even mid next year, you're okay with that. That's option 2, which is later. Then option 3 is, of course, maybe you change your plans and you say, you know what, I'm actually going to hold on to the property and I'm going to stay. That's option 3. So that is kind of never. So option 1 is now, get sold now, use the time frame. Option 2, later, use that time frame and push it out 3-6 months, see how they feel about that. And option 3 is maybe you don't sell at all. Maybe you change your plans and say, you know what, Caroline, I think we're going to stay. So give them those 3 options. Once you do that, you then simply say, so out of those 3 options of getting sold now, defer maybe next year, wait it out, or choose not to, which way would you like to go? You get them to make a decision. Mostly they're going to rule out option 3. You will find that 85-90% of the time they go, well, it's not an option not to sell. So you say, okay, let's take that off the table. So option 1 and option 2, what do you want to happen? Do you want to get sold now? Or are you okay if it takes longer and you sell later, maybe into next year when things change a bit? And just ask them. Once they make the decision about option 1 or option 2, only then do you go to what you need to do to make that happen. So we're hoping, and mostly they will choose option 1. You say, okay, so we're going to lock in option 1. We're going to get you sold before Christmas. Let's talk about what we need to do to make that happen. And then you're going to suggest a new pricing strategy or whatever is the hurdle there. That's when you talk about what we need to do, only after they've made the decision. So I hope that's helpful. There's a couple of things here. It's making sure you know the deeper emotional driver. Then we can refer back to that. Do you still want that to happen? Go into that 3-step framework: situation, challenge, options, get them to make a decision, put some actions in place, and get your property sold. So I hope that's helpful. Go forth, work out who you need to get in front of, and run that PDC framework. And let's go to Christmas with a nice clean slate and helping all of your owners really get where they need to be. Okay, team, I will see you next time.